Blood pooled in the wagon tracks where Cole Brennan found the ambush site. 3 days dead? Maybe 4. The stagecoach lay splintered against the canyon wall like kindling, its strong box cracked open and empty. Bodies had been dragged off by scavengers, all except one, a woman's boot print leading into the rocks, then vanishing where the hard ground gave up its secrets. Cole dismounted, his weathered duster catching the wind that screamed through the pass. 42 years of living rough showed in every line of his face, every gray thread in his beard. A gunslinger by trade, a killer by reputation, a man trying to outrun his own shadow. She couldn't have gotten far, he muttered, studying the dried blood trail. Not wounded like this. But something didn't sit right. The boot prints were steady, purposeful. No stumbling, no panic. He followed the signs for 2 miles before he found it. Fresh-turned earth beneath a gnarled juniper, a crude wooden cross fashioned from broken coach planks. The inscription carved with a knife blade read, "Here lies Grace McKenna, died with honor, buried by J. Cordell." Cole's jaw tightened. Jack Cordell. The name tasted like rust and gunpowder in his mouth. They'd ridden together once before Cole found religion and Cordell found easier money in robbery and murder. "You sentimental fool," Cole whispered, kneeling beside the grave. "Since when do you bury your victims?" The earth was loose, too loose. His heart began hammering against his ribs as he drew his knife and started digging with bare hands. 6 inches down, his fingers hit wood, a coffin lid made from the coach door. He pried it open. Grace McKenna's eyes snapped open, wide and wild with terror. Her scream split the mountain silence. "Easy! Easy now!" Cole caught her wrists as she thrashed against him. "You're safe! I'm not with them!" She fought like a cornered wolf until her strength gave out, collapsing against his chest with ragged breaths. Her dark hair was matted with dirt, her split lip crusted with blood, but those green eyes, fierce as spring lightning, fixed on him with more life than he'd seen in a corpse. "How long?" Her voice cracked like drought-parched leather. 3 days, judging by the tracks. "He buried me alive." The words came out flat, empty of everything but cold fact. "Cordell said it was kinder than leaving me for the buzzards. Said I'd just go to sleep." Cole helped her sit up, his canteen already at her lips. "Why didn't you suffocate?" She pointed to a hollow reed poking through the dirt, an air hole deliberately placed. "He left me that, and this." She pulled out a small derringer, still loaded. Said if I couldn't wait for death, I could hurry it along. The cruelty of it struck Cole like a fist. Jack hadn't shown mercy. He'd crafted something worse, a slow, conscious descent into the grave. "Why'd he take you in the first place?" Grace's laugh was bitter as alkali water. "My father owns half the silver claims in Virginia City. Cordell sent him a ransom letter before he buried me. Said I'd be waiting at Hangman's Ridge." Her eyes locked onto Cole's. "He never planned for anyone to find me alive. The ransom was just to make my father live with the guilt of not paying." Cole stood, offering his hand. "Can you ride? Can I breathe?" "Then I can ride." She took his hand, pulling herself upright. "Who are you?" "Cole Brennan. Used to ride with Cordell back when I thought there was honor among thieves. And now I know there's only thieves." He helped her onto his horse, swinging up behind her. And men trying not to be. They rode through the night, following Cordell's trail northwest toward the Bitterroot Mountains. Grace slept against Cole's chest, her breathing steady despite the fever building in her veins from infected wounds. He'd cleaned and dressed the gash on her temple at their camp, his hands surprisingly gentle for a man who'd killed 16 men in fair fights and twice that in foul. "You should leave me," she murmured as dawn painted the sky copper and gold. "He'll kill you when you catch him." "Maybe." Cole's voice was quiet, thoughtful. "But I've been half dead for 10 years. At least this way, I'd go down doing something that matters. She turned in the saddle to look at him. What happened 10 years ago? I chose the wrong side in a range war. Burned out a family on Cordell's orders, didn't ask questions about whether they deserved it. His eyes were distant, fixed on some horizon only he could see. Turned out they didn't. Turned out they had 2 little girls inside. Grace's hand found his, squeezed. That's why you're really chasing him. That's why I've been chasing him for a decade. Cole's voice hardened like cooling iron. He's the debt I can't pay off. Every person I save from him is 2 little ghosts I put back in the ground proper. They found Cordell's camp at midday, a thin ribbon of smoke rising from a canyon mouth. 6 men, heavily armed, celebrating their take from the stagecoach robbery. Cordell sat apart from them, reading a newspaper, his silver-handled Colts gleaming on his hips. Cole settled Grace into a protected outcropping with his rifle. Stay here. If I don't walk out in 10 minutes, you ride for Virginia City and don't look back. Cole? She grabbed his arm, those green eyes blazing. Thank you for digging. He smiled then, the first genuine smile in years. Ma'am, we all deserve someone willing to dig us out of our graves. The gunfight lasted 90 seconds. Cole walked into that canyon like Judgment Day incarnate, his revolvers singing a hymn of lead and thunder. 4 of Cordell's men went down before they cleared leather. The 5th managed one shot that tore through Cole's shoulder. The 6th ran. Only Cordell stood his ground, those silver Colts already drawn. Cole Brennan. Cordell's smile was a wolf's smile. Should have known you'd find her. You always were too good at tracking the doomed. She's not doomed, Jack, but you are. That what your conscience tells you? Cordell's eyes were empty as abandoned wells. How many graves you dug yourself, Cole? How many you fill? Enough to know the difference between a grave and a prison. Cole's voice was steady, certain. You buried her alive because you're already dead inside, wanted company in the dark. Cordell's face twisted. He drew. Cole was faster. Both Colts roared simultaneously, but Cole's bullets found their mark, center mass, true as sunrise. Cordell staggered, those silver pistols falling from nerveless fingers, and dropped to his knees in the dust. You're still a killer, Cordell gasped, blood on his lips. Yeah. Cole holstered his weapons, already walking away. But I'm a killer who still knows how to dig people out instead of putting them under. He collected Grace, helped her onto Cordell's horse, a beautiful palomino too good for a man so rotten. They rode east together toward Virginia City, toward her father and answers and whatever came after. 3 weeks later, Cole stood on the porch of the McKenna Ranch, hat in his hands. The sun was setting gold and crimson over the mountains, painting everything in shades of redemption. Grace emerged, her wounds healed to scars, her green eyes bright. You leaving? Don't belong here, Miss McKenna. I'm not ranch people. Grace, and you're wrong. She stepped close enough he could smell sage and soap on her skin. You belong wherever someone needs digging out. And my father's got a whole town needs protecting. Needs a marshal who understands that law and justice aren't always the same thing. Cole looked at the badge she held, tin and tarnished, but catching the last light like a promise. I've killed men, Grace. I've burned homes. I've got blood on my hands that won't wash off. I know. She pinned the badge to his vest herself, her fingers lingering over his heart. But you also dig. And in this life, Cole Brennan, that's the only thing that really matters, whether you bury people or dig them out. He kissed her then, soft and careful, like she might disappear if he held too tight. When they parted, she was smiling. Besides, she whispered, I figure I owe you my life. Least I can do is help you find yours. They stood together on that porch as night fell. Two people who'd climbed out of their own graves and lived to see another dawn. Sometimes the dead stay buried. Sometimes they dig themselves out. And sometimes, if they're lucky, someone comes along willing to move the earth itself to give them another chance at the light. Thanks for watching this tale of redemption right across your screen. What would you dig through hell itself to save? Drop your answer below and subscribe for more stories where the dead don't always stay buried and second chances ride the wild frontier.